SMT Nation, we back. Nation, Dish did it. They hit their mark. I'm going to tell you guys all about it, what they did, what they achieved, what this means for them, and then we're going to start looking forward for their next step of their network build and obviously retail and how they sell the network. All right, so the article itself is from the Dish newsroom. I'll be sure to link it for you in the description. You guys can find it there. Also in the description is the real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link. Want to support your creators directly? Appreciate the content made here on the channel. Buy us a coffee. Link in the description. And if you're looking for a really good deal on wireless service, you want a better value than what you have today, looking for better customer care, look no further than our Mint Mobile partner. The link in the description, mintmobile.com/sneed, can help you unlock those savings and get the best customer care in the industry. New customer offer right now gives you the best value in the game. $15 a month for any plan, including the unlimited plan, which typically sells at a $30 per month price point. Let's cut that in half using our partner link with the deflation promo, $15 per month. All right, so use the partner link. It's in the description. You'll be saving money and be helping out the channel. Okay, so the big news here, Dish hits the 70% 5G coverage target in the U.S. All right, so this is another big step for them. Obviously, the previous one was to get to 20% of the U.S. pops. They nailed it. That one was much easier. This one took a little bit more work. Obviously, you got to get into a lot more markets. And now they reach approximately 240 million pops or points of presence with their dedicated native Project Genesis Dish Wireless 5G network. All right, so they hit it. And I guess this was the filing with the FCC that happened yesterday, so they dropped the news today. In typical Dish fashion, dropped the news the day after the obligated date was reached. Okay, so with Dish now reaching this mark with 15,000 5G sites built and assembled and on air, and actually even more impressive, right, beyond just that, they continue to innovate, right? 70 million pops covered with voice over NR or voice over 5G, which kind of, I think, estimates to about 20% of the population, puts them in kind of the catbird seat when it comes to 5G networking. When you think of things like this, they don't operate a legacy LTE network, no CDMA, no GSM, none of that stuff, nothing 4G related, strictly 5G NR. All right, so now with this potential reach, for the most part, if you get the service within these markets where Dish has built out pretty well, you're not really going to be on any other network most of the time, right? You might be there on occasion. You might be there if you move around and get out of your home network area occasionally. You might be on the AT&T network, for example. But for the most part, this means that you're basically going to be on Dish's native 5G network. All right, now next target for them is going to be a 75% coverage by June of 2025. Now, the thing that's really important about this particular next landmark is that this is going to be much harder to do because up till now, it's really just been about the low band frequency, right? N71, the 600 megahertz frequency, has a lot of reach. All right, now the next frequency that they've got to kind of put to market and get on air at the same type of coverage, right, 75% pops, is going to be the AWS, right? Their N66, currently as it's deployed. And there's going to be some transformation with respect to how they're going to be aggregating. They're currently aggregating, I think, 3 carriers of NR, right? So you got N66, you've got N71. Some markets they have N70, right? Because just depends, on the frequency and how they're broadcasting with the radio gear. And of course, phones matter too. So you got to have an updated phone. And then what am I forgetting? They got CBRS would be N48. And then they have DoD, which would be N77. But those frequencies, from what I understand, aren't really, deployed widely. And I think they're going to have to do that, especially when they start adding customers on the network. They got to get more of those sites broadcasting those frequencies. So when I look at these different bands, and they're here on the page, N29 as well, that's the 700 megahertz. The N66 is the AWS, and so is the N70 and the N71. So it's all there here in the press release. But that's going to be the big thing. 15,000 cell towers currently. They're probably going to have to double this, right? They're probably going to have to double this because the low band obviously has far reach. The mid band, which is how they're going to be hitting this next 75% pops, it's going to take double the density. That's the difference between a 600 megahertz low band with lots of power to a mid-band frequency, which obviously does not have the same propagation and range characteristics. Okay, so that's going to be the next thing. Now, from rumor and conjecture and speculation, a lot of people have their doubts about them hitting this. We've already heard, indications that Dish is going to slow down the network spend. That doesn't bode well. To be honest with you, them taking a year off of building is a problem. They've got to continue to work towards this to actually get there. And it's not that I want to put rain on their parade. Obviously this is a big day for them, but they have to continue to build on a consistent basis. And that network spend, that capital that it takes, they're just going to have to find a way to make it happen. They're going to have to double the tower density. That is a fact. There's no way around it. You simply have to embrace the grind, generate the capital, and spend and build. And this is what they were tasked with when they got involved with the T-Mobile and Sprint merger. So we've got really good news in here, right? This is awesome. This is really good to see. It's exciting. Now people that are on the Boost Mobile, people that are on Boost Infinite, you're obviously going to have more access to the native Dish network, which we really like. I've been very impressed by the build so far and the performance. I've really enjoyed it as a Project Genesis beta tester. So I'm excited for it. But again, they've got a daunting task ahead of them. If they've spent, I don't know how many dollars so far. Let's say they spent $5 billion so far. They're going to have to spend more, right? That densification process is costly, right? Tower sites, co-locating, they're doing a good job. They definitely, with the voice over NR and all these things, it's really cool to see what they're doing. The fact that they're going to have this Open RAN platform by which they build their radio access network gives them some cost savings, right? And co-locating is obviously a lot easier than building native sites, standalone sites. But they've got a lot of work to do. They've got a lot of spending that they have to do. And of course, they got to get their retail situation going. So over the next 2 years, by the time they get to this next benchmark, they're going to have to address the retail, sell the network, get people on it and using it, owner's economics. And then they got to continue simultaneously building out the network to the next benchmark. Okay, so my question to you all is, how do you feel about this current milestone? Glad, happy, indifferent? Where you guys stand on that? Maybe you don't care, right? And how do you feel about the prospects of them hitting their next mark and what they got going on currently working towards that in 2025? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on this. You all, the voice of the people, the SMT Nation, let your voice be heard.